Hello everybody, so today you join us in one of our grazing fields. This was grazed over the last few days. The cows took their last grazing yesterday daytime. So what we're going to do today, we're going to come in and we're going to run over it with the topper. So tractor and topper is there. So we are going to take off basically everything the cows haven't eaten in the last grazing round. So this was first cut mid-May, and it's been grazed a few times, and as you can tell, where the cows dunged on the earlier grazings, they won't eat it in subsequent grazing, so it goes to seed, and you can tell, you know, they don't want to eat this, and they don't eat the leafier stuff where the dung pats were last time, but they eat all the middle bit. So what we've got to do now, we come in, we top it, take all that old seedy growth off, cut it down, and then it gives us almost a fresh start for the next grazing round. This is the last field to top for the minute. We have been topping behind the cows, so we'll just go and have a look at the field that I topped yesterday, which they finished grazing a couple of days before. They obviously took a few days to graze it with this one. So this was topped yesterday. As you can tell, all the tufty bits are gone. It's nice level. There's a few docks out here. Equally, there's a few docks and thistles we're going to top in a minute, and give it a week and they will shoot on, and then they're going to get sprayed. These three fields here will get sprayed. I'll talk about that in a minute. But what we did yesterday, we took off, see, this here was a tufty growth. So basically you can see any darker patches here is where the tufts were, the seed heads were, and it's all gone. And also what you can see, it's shooting in a day, 24 hours, it is all growing very nicely, rapidly. Now we're not cutting hard, we're leaving probably a 3 or 4 inch stubble. You'll see where we just were, that is actually growing behind the cows, and we don't want to cut that off, the fresh growth, but we do want to take off the seed heads. And you can see here, this is what we cut. It just dries up, shrivels up, and that will just disappear down into the base of the grass, and the fresh will come up through. So this year is a total change on last year, and we're at the end of July, and end of July last year we were totally burnt up. We hadn't had any rain for weeks and weeks, and in June of this year it was looking like we were going to be the same, but I said a couple of weeks back, or a couple of videos back, when we did the fencing, and we had a lot of rain in July. That was kind of middle of July that was filmed, and it's carried on. It's still nice and damp and showery, but you did see last video we had a good week where we did the silage, but we've had rain since then. It's nice and cool, it's cloudy and still showery, so that makes for very good grass growing weather, which we certainly didn't have last year. But anyway, this is good. This year is good. We haven't got spare grass as such, but we've got a good bit of grass ahead of the cows, which is what, and this time last year there just simply wasn't anything to top, and we were at times too afraid to top anything, just in case. This is a flail topper, so if you hit a stone you could get a spark. This time last year it was so dry, fires were a major issue last year, and we didn't see any, we didn't fall victim to any, but unfortunately plenty of people did. Anyway, total change this year, which is why we're topping. But we said briefly earlier on in the video that we were going to spray. So what we need to do, once it's topped, give it a week, 7-10 days. The docks will be growing nice and young and leafy, and that is the time to spray them, when they are most susceptible, or we're taking the spray most readily. If we sprayed today on older leaves, it would work, but not as well. It wouldn't take in the spray as nicely as those young, tender, rapidly growing leaves do. But one of the things with spraying for docks in the grazing season, depending on what product you use, you do have to keep stock away from the field for a certain period after the spray has gone on. In a drier summer, we don't always have the chance to do that. Often the cows have to come round relatively quickly, but where the grass is growing well at the moment, we are growing round quite slowly. The rotation is quite slow, so we have time to give that 10 days for it to grow, and then that withholding period afterwards. Another thing that is benefiting us this late in July, we have a lot of dry cows, because we don't start calving till kind of late August, and we do calve a lot of cows in August and September, so a lot of stuff is dry now. Again, slows down the rotation the milking cows take around the grazing land. So it seems to be turning into a bit of a showery combining season for the arable farmers. Our neighbour is just behind, you won't see him, he's cutting his oats, so we'll send the drone over. We have had a little shower this morning, but he's still going, so we'll send the drone over the hedge in a minute and have a look at the combine briefly. So final little strip up the field and then we're done. Right, so we'll just jump out, have a look at what we've done. It looks a lot tidier now, and then we'll just leave it, just wait for them docks to grow, and then we will come back and spray them off. So there we are, it looks a lot tidier now. So like we said at the start, we have left a long stubble, so we haven't cut our new growth off. The roller has flattened it down a bit, but it's all still there. so that when I shoot on, and that'd be a nice fresh round of grazing for August. Probably won't get back out here now till we started calving, so this will be some nice fresh grass ready for our fresh calved cows. So there we go, just a little quick one today, but we did get some combining. Anyway, right, so thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.